Hi, I'm Jennifer Landry. I'm a senior attorney here at Baker Law Group in the Trust and Estate section. I grew up in South Louisiana, deep in the heart of Cajun country, and I finished my undergrad in law school in Texas, and that's where I began my career as an attorney. However, I did have 15 years of sales and management experience prior to practicing law, even spent some time working in the public sector for a small police department in Texas. So all of that experience has really added to me as an attorney, and I think brings a lot of value to my clients. I'm also a huge bookworm and always happy to chat about books and share recommendations. So reach out to me for that as well. My practice here encompasses three primary areas. The first being estate planning. That includes drafting and modifying wills and trusts. Those trusts could be irrevocable or revocable living trusts. I also have experience working with special needs trust or supplemental needs trust, as they're often referred to. I enjoy working with families with young children who are planning for what may happen with their children if something were to happen to them while those children were still minors. I also really enjoy working with our elderly community who maybe haven't revisited their estate plan in many years. And they want to make sure not only that their assets are still going to go where they want them to go and that that accurately reflects their desires still, but also to help them navigate planning for their own end of life care prior to their passing. The next area for me is probate. Probate is, again, a wide area. It covers a lot of things. That may be actual probate proceedings through the court. It could be non-probate proceedings if you have a smaller estate, or maybe your loved one had a trust and you are not sure how to administer that trust or what your role as the trustee is. So essentially, I am navigating with people, with family members and loved ones through the process of moving assets once someone has died, and that is sort of falls under that umbrella. And the third umbrella here for me is elder law, which again is a wide area and can cover a lot of things. At Baker Law Group, that primarily means guardianship and conservatorship proceedings. So elder law can be a little bit of a misnomer because although a lot of my clients in that space are senior citizens, are our elderly community, maybe who have reached a point where they are having some capacity issues or otherwise are unable to speak for themselves for medical or financial decisions or legal decisions, and they need a representative to do that on their behalf. And so I walk clients through that part of the process. However, it also applies to parents of children with special needs who are also in a similar situation, that they are unfortunately not going to be able to make those sorts of decisions for themselves either. And once those children turn 18, the parents no longer have the ability to do that for them. So I help parents of those children walk through that process as well, and kind of guiding them through not only the procedure of being appointed, but also the ongoing responsibilities for a guardian or a conservator. I love sharing the story about why I wanted to become an attorney. When I was a kid, I told you I grew up in South Louisiana. I grew up in a really blue collar family. My mom spent some time when I was a child cleaning houses for people in our community. One of those clients was the lawyer in town, and he had this big house with a pool. And I used to go and help my mom sometimes, or I would go and entertain the lawyer's niece while she was visiting. I was about 10 years old. And I would go to the house, and he had this home office with a law library and tons of law books, just wall to wall shelves of law books. And so I would sit in this office behind this big desk and pull these law books off the wall and read case law, like read old case law and criminal cases and tort cases and all of this. And I, as I mentioned, also a big bookworm, right? So here I was thinking I could have a career where I could read all of this stuff for a living and have this big house. And so that was really kind of the first spark for I want to be an attorney. And then as I continued through my educational journey, I mentioned that I had a whole career prior to this. And so when I finished my bachelor degree, as I was looking at continuing my education and my career growth, I explored a few different options. And ultimately, after talking with some friends and family and really trying to identify what I wanted to do for a living, what I wanted to who I wanted to be as a person, I decided to go to law school. And that was because I really had these altruistic desires to help people. I always knew I would be in a field of law that allowed me to assist people, whether that was in a litigation stage, fighting for the little guy, or any such area like that. I found a love for estate planning while I was in law school. I actually began my practice in Texas, and there I was doing some family law and litigation as well. However, now, like I said, I only focus on the areas that I've mentioned, but still, I'm in an area where I feel like every day I'm helping people navigate, whether it's difficult conversations about end of life or navigating the tough situations once they have lost loved ones or they're dealing with senior members of their family, and the changes that come there. So ultimately, I'm still helping people, and that's why I wanted to become an attorney. My clients can expect an attorney who talks to them on a one on one level. I think one of my biggest strengths is the ability to take what can seem like a really complex situation like estate planning or probate or guardianship proceedings and relate that process to them in a manner that they understand and becomes less intimidating. I take my time with my clients to make sure they feel really comfortable with the process that we're entering into together. I have open communication. You have my direct phone number, you have my email address. You can call me or email me anytime with questions. I really try to become a partner with my client through these processes and through these discussions. You can also expect some humor. I am in an area where I think people assume it's sort of a sad situation. Nobody wants to talk about death, or nobody wants to have to be in these situations of probate or guardianship proceedings. And the reality is that we all have to face death. That's going to happen. And so I do try to bring some levity in when appropriate and really just lighten that situation for my clients and help them to feel at ease with me and talking about difficult topics and really opening up to me. And estate planning, especially, parents and loved ones, they have to come up with tough decisions and make tough decisions regarding who's going to care for their children, or maybe you're looking at how your assets are going to be distributed and how your family is going to see this after you've passed. And so I really work hard to make my clients feel at ease, knowing that they can share with me in a confidential situation and feel really comfortable that there's no judgment from me and that I am really open and here to guide them to achieve their goals. It's probably no surprise that my answer to this question is contact an attorney. And that's not because I am one, but because I think that oftentimes people don't realize that those very early decisions that they make, the very early steps that they take when facing a legal issue, can have a ripple effect, can have ongoing ramifications that they didn't even see. And so consulting an attorney early and getting that advice, whether that means you're engaging an attorney to represent you longer term, or maybe it's just a consultation, maybe it's a short conversation just to make you feel that you are on the right path and that you are making the right decisions, or that you have the rights that you think you have. And so ultimately, it's about consulting a professional in their area, in their specific area of law. So don't talk to me about your criminal law. We have a fantastic criminal law team here at Baker Law Group. Don't talk to me about your litigation. That's not my role. We have an outstanding litigation team here. But if you are inheriting under a will and you don't know what your rights as a beneficiary are, or you have been named as someone's personal representative in their will and you have no idea what that process looks like, or you think that you don't need an estate plan because you feel like you don't have an estate, contact a lawyer, have a conversation, find out what you don't know and find out how we can help. And I feel confident that if you're needing assistance in estate planning or probate or elder law, I would be more than happy to chat with you and more than happy to help you in any way I can. And if you need practice, if you need experience or help, assistance in other areas, come to Baker Law Group. We have a really great team of attorneys that are super smart and really know what they're doing. So that's my advice.